Hi. Here's another crucial energy principle. Your body is your best friend. Of course, I'm talking about your inner body here. You can't pretend to do any energy work if you don't become super aware of what's going on in your body. And becoming embodied is also the best thing you can do for your spirituality, health, charisma, and yes, for slowing down aging as well. Conversely, tuning out from your inner body is the single greatest harm you can do to yourself. What do I mean by tuning out? Basically, it means withdrawing attention from your body and ignoring the signals it sends you all the time. As Eckhart Tolle says, your body is an instrument of awareness and evolution. But for most people, it's a deserted vacation house. We almost never go there. There's cobwebs everywhere. Doors and windows are left wide open. Animals have come in and done their things. So honestly, who wants to live in a place like that, right? In his great book, Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul, Deepak Chopra outlines 5 degrees of losing connection with your inner body. These stages are absence of pleasure, reduced vitality, discomfort, numbness, and finally, pain. Let's have a look at each of them. The first level of disconnection is when you no longer enjoy the pleasure of your senses. For example, when you don't take the time to taste the food, to appreciate the countryside, or just to feel the warm breeze on your skin. In other words, we live mindlessly and mechanically because you treat your body like an object or a machine rather than a living, responsive system. Another reason for this disconnection from pleasure comes from the fallacy that happiness is to be found outside of yourself. But the problem is that the more you search outside of yourself, the more you lose contact with your sensations inside. We forget that everything we experience in our lives is a bodily experience. So this energy path is truly hedonistic because it's about enjoying yourself and finding joy in yourself, here and now. As Eckhart says, this is something you can feel every moment of the day, even when you wait in line. And let's be honest here, this diminished physical sensation most people experience is also the legacy of traditional religion. Let's turn to our second level of disconnection, which is the decreasing vitality in your body. Here, you start feeling tired and listless on a regular basis. This low energy is the direct consequence of the constant stress we live in, especially in the West. It's like we're living in a state of emergency with all those alarm clocks, calendars, deadlines, and coffee. I love coffee, by the way. And we also feel this omnipresent anxiety about our financial security, house safety, place in society, just to name these. And of course, all this is amplified by the media. We're like a tightened fist. We all have this contraction at the core of our being. And as we've seen in other videos, body tension is the biggest thief of your vitality and inner energy. The chronically contracted muscle is like an engine you can't turn off. It continues to run and burn up energy. So no wonder we're always tired. What we need is to convince our body that the war is over and that it can finally relax. The third level of disconnection is discomfort. This is the obvious result of that stress we just talked about. Of course, sustained anxiety and muscular contraction will produce soreness in the body. Sleep may become difficult as well. Actually, this is the first signal our body is sending us. But most of the time, we'll try to override this discomfort by using substances like alcohol, painkillers, and other distractions to avoid dealing with it. And this necessarily leads to our fourth degree of disconnection, which is numbness. Here, we don't feel our body anymore. It's not part of our conscious awareness. But when you think about it, this is just a defense mechanism, which makes us naturally pull awareness away from areas that cause discomfort and pain. And ironically, this is something that is well seen in our society, like the workaholic who's not sensitive to unpleasant sensations and who's able to master his or her emotions. But this freezing of your inner energy and emotions will continue its underground damage. And then we have our last degree of tuning out, which is random aches in the body and disease. At this level, people usually blame their body for this pain, illness, and aging. They feel this as a betrayal of the body. But it's really a wake-up call, an alarm system the brain sets off to call us back. So healing here is not about getting rid of the disease, but rather understanding its meaning. By the way, it's the same thing with old age, which the somatic educator Thomas Hanna describes as the brain that is losing control of bodily functions. So what is the solution? As Eckhart puts it, it is to flood your body with consciousness. The body loves your attention, and this is the best way to increase your energy and feel more alive. And as long as you take in more energy than you give off, you're stopping time. The ultimate goal here is to live as if you have all the time in the world. This is what Chopra calls functional immortality. It's the end of struggling and the beginning of living. Let me finish with this beautiful metaphor from the meditation teacher and author Will Johnson. As you keep passing your awareness through your body over and over again, more and more sensations naturally start appearing like stars above the desert that come out one by one in the early evening, only to fill the entire sky by midnight.